Welcome to the Daily Grind. My name's Mark. I got Luke with me. What's up, man?
Not much, brother. I'm still riding that high from winning the other night, man. I just feel so good. It's one win, but I don't care.
It's a great time to be a Memphian. I just got to say that the Tigers played last night. Carlos on the YouTube stream just commented, "Go Tigers, go! Go Tigers, go, baby!" I know this is a Grizzlies show. I went to the University of Memphis, graduated there. I met my wife there at a fraternity party. She graduated there. We've been married 15 years this year. Been together for 19. Almost my whole adult life. Well, actually, not almost. My entire adult life, I've been with this woman, my best friend. She doesn't watch the show, but if she did, she'd be excited. But the Memphis is special to my heart. I know it's special to a lot of people's hearts. So shout out to the Tigers last night getting their first dub. Shout out to the city of Memphis. It's a great time to be a Memphian.
Hell yeah.
The season is upon us of basketball with and Daniel said, "Let's go, Duke." Come on, man. Get out of here.
Shut your mouth, Daniel. Get out of here.
The time is upon us, though, where college basketball, even Duke, and the NBA basketball is getting into being full swing, and football is on almost every single day until Thanksgiving seems like. And so I think I saw someone tweet that there's not a day now that doesn't have football until Thanksgiving, which it's hard to believe. I don't know. Trust but verify, people. But the time for sports fans is ripe. It's been amazing. And Bluff City Media just getting full swing. So shout out to us. Got a great show for you guys today. We're talking about on the rundown. How do we end up 1-6? That's going to be a big conversation piece for us. Talking about the next 18 games. And then our last segment of the show, our Monday mailbag, kind of not on Mondays. It's a new segment we're going to start up here at the show where we take your questions and answer them every single week. And so make sure you look for that. And we will do those on a specific day of the week. We'll try to get out on Mondays. Although if it's a big win like Sunday night, we can't guarantee it. Yeah. Can't guarantee because we'll just be excited. So
yeah.
Great show today. All right, let's start with our first topic. How do we end up at 1-6 for this Grizzlies team? I think it's important to understand how we got here. This was kind of my this was my topic on the rundown yesterday when we were talking about what should we. First of all, actually, before I get started, coffee today. Apple cider donut, by the way, is the coffee. Yeah, it's from a coffee company called Bones Coffee Company. I order from them all the time. Ooh. It's a great company. They have all kinds of weird flavors. Apple cider donut. It's delicious, by the way.
Sounds delicious. I'm just rocking classic Cafe Bustelo in a Miss Claus glass.
I got just a plain glass.
That's that's classy.
That's an IKEA cup.
I love IKEA.
For those of you who don't know, I do a lot of I work in video production and we do a lot of props sometimes. So my house is full with like single cups and single plates and stuff for like food shoots and stuff like that around the house. So
hell yeah.
That's what this is. It's the only one we have that's like this. So I digress. Let's get back to the show. How do we end up in Memphis 1-6? I think that obviously we've talked about on the show before that this team is playing non-NBA players. Obviously, the first few games. That's I think that's the most straightforward answer is how do we end up here is they are forced to play, and I say forced because that is the correct assumption. They're forced to play non-NBA players in NBA minutes. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean it's guys that might end up being quality NBA players in 5 years, but that doesn't help us now at all.
Correct. And I think that's really important to understand that like someone like even like a David Roddy, who I think has real NBA potential, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's being forced to play minutes that I just don't think he's ready for. I think he would have been good on like the back half of the rotation, spot minutes in the rotation sometimes. But especially early on in this short season, he's been forced to play huge minutes, which is I think is unfortunate for him, even on his development, because I think that I think it's important to understand that he's a guy that is good, but it still takes a long time to get to where you're going. The other thing I think is important to understand is that, the Grizzlies front office did not have, they weren't planning on the front court being like this, right? I think I've seen a lot of people be very angry with the front office for not having a backup plan for Steven Adams. But the problem is, and if you look at what the Grizzlies, the front office did in the summer, the front office looking towards the season during the summer in June, July, they have Santi Aldama, Jaren Jackson Jr., Xavier Tillman, and Steven Adams.
Yeah,
that's a solid front court. To which, you're missing Brandon Clark, but that's like, that's going to be Xavier Tillman's going to maybe try to fill those minutes, right?
Yes.
So if you're the Grizzlies front office, there's absolutely no reason to go out and get a backup big or a backup to Steven Adams. None of that's true. Now, you can discuss and be mad about how you think they handled the Steven Adams injury to your blue in the face. That whatever you want to do. Yeah, I mean, that's a legitimate conversation, but one I don't think this is part of, right?
Nope.
I think those are two different things. Fast forward to the week before the season, a few days before the season, and in Santi's case, literally the day before the season starts.
Day before.
Santi goes down, Steven Adams goes down for the year. So what you thought was a front court rotation of Jaren, Xavier, Santi, and Steve-O is now Jaren and X, and that's it. And now you have to try to pay people like Kenny Lofton. Now you got to go out and try to get someone like Bismack Biyombo, who, to be clear, wouldn't even be able to get if it's not for Ja's suspension.
Yes.
So even if Ja's not suspended, you're in even probably not a worse situation, but you're in a situation where you have to make more decisions based on your roster, based on the guys available. So I think that's one of the biggest, important to note is like how we end up here is health. I mean, and I know that's like it feels like a cop out because people don't like that answer, right? I think people expect more from that. And I think people think that's a cop out answer, but it's not.
No,
it's just
I think it's the truth. I think the answer, I think it's just a two-hander. It's like, it's health. And then it's the front office's hubris to rely on these young guys. I mean, that conversation has been had over and over and over about like letting certain guys walk and relying on the youth movement, like that's been discussed. But I think that they were feeling pretty good about the fact they had drafted Dez and X and Z and Santi. And I think they just felt good and felt like one of these guys would hit, and they just didn't, and so I think the resiliency there to like go to the youth, all these young wings and hope one of them pans out. It just made it tough when injuries hit, like you said.
And that's the other, I think that's the other side of the coin on this is that you have guys, and I think it's people don't want to hear this, but they gave up two first round picks and a second for Jake LaRavia. And I mean, that hurts. I mean, they gave up the 22nd and the 29th pick in that draft, and a future second for Jake LaRavia. And so they gave up a lot of assets. To be clear, they gave up a lot of assets to get players like Jake LaRavia and David Roddy. They didn't give up anything for Kenny Lofton, but they filled it with a roster spot. So that's the other thing. That's the other side of this coin is health is one side. The other side is where you spent so many years hating on draft picks. You had a really bad 2 years, really bad stretch. Of not hating anything. And I've said this before, like that's okay. The draft is really hard to do. And I don't hold them. I'm not mad at who they picked. I'm mad they like we've talked about this before. I'm mad they went up and got them.
Yes.
Right. Like Jake LaRavia was not going anywhere. No one was going like, oh my, he got drafted, but like the guys are trying to go out and get, they're not going anywhere. Right. Giving up that many assets to get him, I think, whatever. Like they gave a Walker Kessler to get Jake LaRavia, and like he's a real NBA player.
He's a backup, a solid big that we could have used in this situation. Like,
and that's the other side of it is banking on young players when they aren't ready, or not even already, but they're not good. They're just not good. I said David Roddy is the only guy out of those selection of players last few years that I think is going to be an NBA player. When I say going to be an NBA, I mean I think he's going to be a role player, an average role player, maybe below average role player, maybe a journeyman. Like that's his MO.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, too, you're asking these kids to like adjust to a speed that Wake Forest, Where did Roddy go? Colorado State. Like if you think that's anywhere close to the competition and the speed of which the game is played here, like you're out of your mind. Like it's two totally different games. And they're a year and a half into this.
And that's okay too, right? Like that's all these things are okay. I don't want to be we're sounding saying these are bad things. Like those guys, they gave it, they gave up Dylan Brooks. These are the guys they let go D'Anthony Melton, Kyle Anderson that year. They let go Dylan Brooks and Tyus Jones. And they replaced them with guys that aren't NBA players. So that's ultimately the other issue on this is that they invested in youth. They thought that was going to be the path because they had, been successful before, and they missed. And that's okay. But that's how we now find ourselves when you have health issues, like we talked about just a minute ago. When you have health issues, now that's how you find yourself losing a bunch of fucking games because the guys who you have on the back end of your roster, instead of the next guy up being D'Anthony Melton and maybe even John Conchar, they're trying to force the issue with Kenny Lofton Jr., David Roddy, or Slow-Mo, right? Instead of the next man up being Slow-Mo or D'Anthony Melton, who are actual NBA players.
Yes, starters sometimes on some nights.
And to be clear, like the Slow-Mo and Dylan Brooks, like those guys all got moved, and I'm not really blaming them for that, right? Because they were in situations where they couldn't afford them, like Dylan Brooks. Like if you wanted to keep Dylan Brooks, I mean, there's no way they're keeping Dylan and Desmond, right? So those are forced. Like we let them go because instead of going out and getting free agents or making trades with their assets they had for players who are already in the league, who actually I think a lot of people wanted them to do, including myself, they banked on youth on the draft. And I said that that year they drafted 2 years ago when they drafted Jake and David Roddy and had all these things and they elected Anthony Melton and college ago is that and I think a lot of people said it's like, hey, this is weird because you're letting real role players go and you're replacing them with youth, and I'm not so sure that's going to work. And it didn't. It's blown up in their face. And so
I think you keep one of those dudes, like one of those four between, and like,
it's just David Roddy. Like it's David Roddy.
Yep. And I mean, even if you just out of the four guys we let go and the four guys we brought in, if you just let three of them go and keep one of them, I think we're singing a different tune. Like I think that if we just have one of those guys, like if Slow-Mo was still here, like that changes things.
Even if you don't have Slow-Mo, you have someone else that is comparable.
NBA player.
Right? An NBA player. And again, I think that's the ultimate issue of how we got here is, yes, health has been a huge factor. That's one side of the token, right? The other side of the token is when health becomes a huge factor, who fills those spots on the back end of your rotation? Who's the guy that can step up and play a week and not have a huge drop off? And unfortunately, they don't have anybody like that. They've had a huge drop off. They've gone from playing regular players or G leaguers. We talked about this yesterday. That for the first week and a half, they played, three, maybe have three legitimate NBA starters on that team. Not maybe. There's definitely three, maybe four, depending on what you think about X. Or
it's been two-way guys. The two-way guys are
depending
balling,
on what you think about Zaire, right? Depending on what you think about
Zaire.
Maybe he's a fourth starter if you think he's a starter in the NBA. Yeah. But that's it. That's it. So I think, just seeing a lot, I think that's important for us to just talk about on today's show, just because depending, where we're at, and I see a lot of people blaming, the front office for a lot of things, and they have blame to take.
Yeah.
But not all of it. And some of it's just bad luck. And I know that's like people don't want to hear that, but that's just the reality. Some of it's just bad luck.
Shit happens.
Shit happens. That should be good. That should be the Grizzlies' new marketing slogan is shit happens.
Shit happens.
All right, man. Let's take a quick break. We'll be come back on the other side. We're talking the next 18 games, where the Grizzlies go from here.
I am highly upset, man.
Oh, man.
ESPN, you dastardly dogs you. Last week had us feeling good. They picked the Grizzlies to be first in the West with about 48.5 wins. And what a difference a few days makes.
What a difference.
You put out your list of the top 100 players in the NBA. Desmond Bain jumps in at 61. Jaren Jackson Jr. comes in at number 31. Jaren's top 25 to me, but if you, all right, whatever. I think that's a little slight to Jaren. Desmond Bain is disgusting, in my opinion. Then we get Ja Morant, All-NBA player, two-time All-Star, one of the most dynamic offensively players in the NBA, Ja Morant. That guy was number 35 on their list, Kenny Stubblefield. The same people that said the Grizzlies will be the first team in the West, they're going to get that done with just some regular dudes.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Just curious, you kind of talked about the transfers and things like that. How has that changed your mindset from a roster management standpoint? Like, incredible recruiter. All the classes, I think we had 2 back-to-back and 21 and 22 top classes. How does that change with the transfer portal? Do you start focusing more on upperclassmen? Do you kind of get away from the younger freshmen? How does that work?
Yeah, so I still believe in our coaching staff and the way we do things and developing guys. And that I will never get away from that philosophy. We're still going to recruit a high school class. Now, there's a lot of colleges out there that say, screw this. We're pushing all the chips in on this roster, win right now, and we'll figure it out. Sure. And if it doesn't, right, it implodes and bad things happen. But I think you still have to bring in true freshmen and develop them and see what they can become. And that I'll never waver from that. But the portal certainly changed things.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the show. This is the time where we do shameless promotion of every single show. If you're not already Bluff City Media Insider, make sure you go and do so. It's super simple, super easy, and super worth it. It's $5 every single month. You get access to our Discord. You get access to our insider articles where Luke does a great job. Joe Mullenix, our Grizzlies columnist, does a great job. Paris Sharkey, our Grizzlies beat writer, does a great job. Sean Coleman, one of our other feature writers, does a great job. Just so many different people writing all the time. So don't miss any of the insider articles. They are great, great pieces. You also get 20% off our merchandise in our store. You get access to early stuff that we find out that the other people don't know. So lots of reasons to join Bluff City
Discord
Media as an insider. I think I mentioned the Discord, but yes, Discord as well. We're always chatting it up there during games. If you can't afford that, help us out. Throw a like on the video. Throw a subscribe to the YouTube channel. That really helps us out as well. Really helps us continue to make content for you guys, continue to have all these shows for you guys so that you can enjoy it. So let's not forget about being a Bluff City Media Insider every single day. Back to the rundown. Predicting the next 18 games. I'm guessing this is the 18. This is without Ja.
Yes.
What do we think is going to be? Like, I've done the math on these games. Like, just as I've done the math on these games just as a person that's curious to know what it be, and it don't look good, brother. It don't look good. I think
a lot of these games
we should go by them just game by game and see if we get an L or let's go. You want to go by them game by game and just see L or no L?
Let's do it.
Let me pull the schedule up.
And it's tough. You're right. This is a tough.
Shit, hold on.
And some of these wouldn't have been tough. Like if we, I don't know. Like I had some of these as wins that definitely are not wins now.
You had them as wins before the season started, but
before I saw before Santi got hurt and before Derrick Rose got hurt, for example, before we lost, before Luke was out for multiple games. It feels like we've had at least 2 of our top 8 guys missing every single game. Most games.
Okay, what game does Ja come back?
It's that Pelicans
it's on the 19th,
game, right?
Yeah, it's on the 19th, which is also my birthday. So happy birthday!
Oh shit! Yeah, happy birthday, early birthday.
All right, tomorrow they play the Heat. I think that's an L. To be honest with you,
you think that's an L? Is Caleb Martin playing?
I don't know. Yes, that depends. I think that's.
They've looked weird.
They have not been good to start the season.
No,
You know what? Let's give them a W. Let's give them.
I had them taking an L, and I think we might take the dub.
All right, let's give it a W. So that's 1 win. Utah Jazz on Friday. I actually think that's a W too.
Me too.
To be honest with you. I think the way they played against them the other night and having Santi and Luke shooting, if Luke shoots well this time, I think that's a dub. So that's 2 dubs, 2-0 right now. The Clippers.
That's an in-season tournament game too. So they played hard the last one.
God awful floor they have.
Dude,
actually, the Grizzlies floor is not bad. It's just gray, but that red one was, and we didn't even talk about this, but that red one was fucking gross.
Just
it was awful,
dude.
As a person as a person whose job is to broadcast TV sports games, it hurt my soul looking at that. It was hard to see.
Man, I'm red green colorblind, it just looked like actual poop. It's like I was just like, that looks like what are they doing? It looks like brown. It's just gross.
All right, so 2-0. Then they go at Los Angeles Clippers and the Lakers, and I think those are both L's.
Is that
On the West Coast? One doesn't start till 10:30 at night on a Tuesday, which I won't be watching that game. So whatever recap you do, you'll be leading the charge.
I got you.
We'll get someone else to do the recap because it won't be me.
I'm going to say 3-1. I think we lose that Lakers game, but the Clippers did not look good with James Harden, and Robert Covington's been playing good, and they shipped him off. I think we might steal that one. I think we'll lose the Lakers game.
See, that's a 3-game road trip. The Clippers, Lakers, Suns. I think they go 0-3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Personally.
Or it's Spurs, isn't it?
Spurs. It's Clippers, Lakers, Spurs. And I think we go 40 points.
God, yeah. I think we go 1-2.
So that's for me, that's 2 wins, 2 and 3. I don't know what it is for you. You keep up or no.
I'm 3-3. I'm 3-3.
They have home. They're home to the Boston Celtics. That's another L for me.
Yeah, I'm going to that game.
Oh, nice. 2 and 4. Oh, that's the week you'll be in town. Look for the Daily Grind to be in person that week. Of me and Luke together.
Yeah.
At the Rockets, I think that's a dub.
Yeah.
So that's 3 wins from me. At the Suns, that's an L.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me. That's home at this. They got home at the Suns, Timberwolves, and Utah Jazz.
We'll lose 2 of those.
You
think 2-1? Who do you think we win?
I got the Timberwolves number, man.
Dude, we do have the Timberwolves number. They're looking good though.
That's true.
But
you know what? You're probably right. It's probably 1 and 2 there. That's 4 wins for me.
Well, let's you take the win. I'll take the L because that brings us even. We're even now.
That's 5 wins then.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. So are we
at
5
the
and
Mavs,
5?
At the Mavs, then at the Suns, both L's.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then back at home to the Mavs.
I think we win that one.
You think they win that one? I think they might go.
Well, no, you're right.
The Mavs are just
I'm
good,
with you.
man.
Mavs are good. I'm with you.
At the Rockets and then home with the Rockets, a back-to-back. Not a back-to-back, but there's a game. There's a game between. I think they lose. I think they beat both times. I know. I think they beat both times. Yeah.
So 7 and 11.
7 and 11. At the Thunder and then at the Pelicans. Or at the Thunder's the last one. Jaka's back at the Pelicans. So at the Thunder.
They'll lose that Thunder game.
Yeah. So 7
and 12. Or wait, is that math right?
It doesn't math right for 18 games, but
that
they'll have 7 wins.
Yeah, 7, at least 7 wins.
7 wins. Not at least. Only 7.
Yeah, God.
Semantics.
And that doesn't even
semantics.
Where are we? We're at
and look, that's 7 wins going to the schedule, and that's giving them a couple I didn't think they were going to get.
Yeah.
So
that would make them 8 and 20. No.
I don't know. I'm not good at math.
8 and 17.
It could be worse, I guess. I mean, it could be a lot better, but I mean, if you get Ja back, maybe you go on a win streak, a good run, and you get back to 500 before January. That'd be the hope. But
if they can hover around 500 by the time Ja gets back, that'd be awesome. But that's asking a lot.
Yeah, that's asking a lot. So it don't look great. As this show is normally the positive show. We just kind of being realistic on those games. It don't look great. I don't like doing that though, going to game by game because it makes me feel worse about it. So
makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah. All right, let's take another break. We'll be right back and do our Monday mailbag on the other side.
Seth Hennigan just still he
doesn't look himself.
He just doesn't in the big moments. He's not making the plays that have to be made. If you look at the raw stats, they're not terrible. But the 2 interceptions, and he fumbled twice. They didn't lose those fumbles, but 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions. One of them coming at a terrible time on a 4th down late in the game when Memphis really needed to put points on the board. But I just don't think Seth is playing well enough to elevate this team.
Right.
I think he's playing well enough for Memphis to be fine. But as far as for them to do something special and to elevate this team, he's just not playing like that.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Kenny, there are certain guys in the NBA that are enigmatic players. They're going to be appealing to a large fan base. But when you have guys like that, who like John Morant, who have off-court issues he's had, Kyrie Irving has had the things he's had, the NBA doesn't particularly like the fact that those guys are larger than life. If I'm the NBA, if I'm ESPN, who of course are working together on all this stuff, I'm going to start telling you who you need to like. And it's going to be a different type of guy to kind of play off of the guys that are going to be there anyway. Let me put these squeaky clean image guys that we want to put in front of you up there as well to kind of counteract some of the stuff we get with the guys that we don't have any control out of. So let me put the Tyrese Halliburtons in front of you. Let me put the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders in front of you, the Josh Giddeys. Let me force these guys in front of you, not particularly on national television games, but let me just kind of create these little sub agendas with these guys to kind of make them those second tier stars that we're gonna like put out in front as well. Like, they're doing this on purpose, man. Like, if anybody can't see this, like, come on, man. Do not sit there and tell me that you really think that Tyrese Halliburton is a top 20 player in the NBA.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. This is normally supposed to be the part where we do our mailbag segment. I think we're going to punt this to tomorrow, though, just as we're looking at it. We only had a few questions asked. I want to make sure that we get as most questions answered as possible. So we're going to punt the mailbag segment, the Monday mailbag, on Wednesday, tomorrow. So if you're listening to the show, make sure you get your questions in. There is a tweet out. You can respond to it, and we will take our questions from there. If you're watching live, you can also just drop your questions in the chat. We'll answer them live as well, the best we can. So make sure to look.
They can be basketball related. They can be ask us what our favorite cereal is.
They can be anything.
Anything.
They can be anything. We'll answer it. And we'll answer it. Maybe. No, we'll answer it for sure.
Maybe.
Also, don't forget, coming up tomorrow after the post-game show right here on Bluff City Media. Nathan and Daniel do a great job over there. Grizz 901 Live. It's a really fun show. It's interactive. So make sure you do that as well. Go check out all other shows on the YouTube. We got a ton of stuff for everybody. If you're a Tigers fan, Grizzlies fan, soccer fan, if you're just kind of a national sports fan, a couple of shows are just kind of general sports shows as well. Not even Memphis specific. So great shows, great channel. Final thoughts on the day, Luke?
I hope the guys are working their asses off. I mean, we got a big break of no basketball. You know what? 2 days, two
full days.
I just hope they stay ready. I hope Santi comes back with ankles that are healthier or whatever was wrong with them. I don't know. I hope that we keep the momentum going through the week.
Yeah. Hopefully Santi comes back with ankles that are better than what he left him with, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. German ankles, whatever they go over there for.
Yep. And then hopefully the Grizzlies continue the momentum. That's what you want to see. These build off the game before. Continuing doing what you want to do every single game. So that's going to be it for us on the Daily Grind. Make sure you guys tune in every single day. We start the show at 9 a.m. live. We go to about 9:30, 9:40 sometimes. So make sure you tune in every single day. We will see you guys tomorrow.